Hi, everybody. This is Phil Martin. This is On Film for October 14th, 2022. It's been an interesting week. This is like the first week of screener season. And screener season isn't like what it used to be. It used to be that between like the 1st of October and mid-December, us film critics would be going to, a theater and watching movies just about every day of the week. These are the films that are coming out, the prestigious films that are coming out in the fall and in the, Christmas season. And we would be getting a jump on them because we will be voting on them fairly early. I think my main voting deadline is early December. And they care about us now. It's like they don't care about us most of the time, but they care about us now. And it's because they want to win awards. And winning awards means that, I don't know. I mean, it means they win awards. It strokes the egos of some people, some actors, some directors, I suppose. It is a nice thing. Those of us who are in professions where they give awards, like mine, understand that they really don't mean anything unless you win them, but they feel good. I don't think it drives audiences to... Other than an Oscar, I mean, maybe a Golden Globe too, but I don't think so. I think other than an Oscar, there's no award that's really going to drive people to see your movie. There'll be some people who go see the Palme d'Or winner just because they're going to see it, but they're probably going to see it anyway. But it's nice. I mean, they treat us nice. I mean, we get to see movies for free, and we get to go to the theater and see them, and we see them in company of other people like us, and we can have talks about them like we can have pretentious talks about them. We can talk about the lighting and the dialogue and all the things that movie critics talk about, the mise en scène, etc. It's a really nice time of year. But if you've got a job, it's also something else you have to do, which means that I've been very harried. My anxiety level is off the chart this week, and I don't really have a good explanation for that, except that I was waiting for something that didn't go through, which was a Halloween Ends review. And I assumed and kind of thought, and no one told me, I don't think I was assured, but there would be screenings of this film on Tuesday afternoon, and we'd be able to pick up one. One of our critics would be able to pick up one. Or they might send out screeners, and one of our critics may be able to pick up a review of it. They didn't, so as I sit here on Wednesday morning, nobody has a review of Halloween Ends except the people across the international date line. And so, because we're operate on deadlines, and you see this days after we've put it together, what I did was I went over to the other side of the world and I grabbed some of the reviews from there, and so we don't have our own review of Halloween Ends, and I don't care if we get one for various reasons, but we do have something about Halloween Ends in the newspaper, and it's, if you judge from the reviews I've read, it's pretty much what you expect. Don't really take the Halloween Ends as the title as definitive, because it probably isn't. There'll probably be a reboot at some point, probably with different actors than they've used in some of these roles. And it's not bad for this kind of movie. I mean, it's sort of like, I have to qualify. It's a genre film. It's a Halloween film, which is a very specific kind of film. It's going to have certain beats and certain measures, and some people are going to like that and be sinking into it, and other people are just going to not really care very much. People like me don't really care very much, but we got it for you, and that's not my favorite way to do things, but we did it. So I'm kind of happy about that, and it sort of relieved my anxiety, because now I don't have to worry about what's going to be the lead story in our newspaper. And it also was a kind of weird week because there wasn't as much opening as I had thought there was going to be. I actually thought that Till, which we screened earlier this week, might open. I'm going to show you a little bit of Till now.
Oh. All right, now you're going to miss your train. Bo, when you get down
Oh,
there...
not again, Mama. I've already been in Mississippi.
Only one time before, and you started a fight with another little boy.
He was picking on me.
You're in the right to stand up for yourself, but that's not what I'm talking about. They have a different set of rules for Negroes down there. Are you listening?
Yes.
You have to be extra careful with white people. You can't risk looking at them the wrong way.
I know.
Bo, be small down there.
Like this?
Okay, that scene shows you a lot of the virtues of this film as far as I'm concerned. I mean, I think it's a nice film. I also think it's very poppy. It's very well designed. The art design is great. The costumes are great. The way that Chicago looks, the way that Mississippi looks is great. The story is very sad. It's heart-rending. It should be familiar to every American. It's probably not, so that's really a good reason to have this film at this time, to remind people about what was happening that long ago in our country. And you can relate it to some of the things that are still happening today. Now, I have one bone that I'm going to pick to death. And I'm going to write, I think my Sunday column is going to be about this. In this film, I don't know, like I said, I cannot expect people to really even know the story of Emmett Till, who was murdered in Mississippi in 1955, 14-year-old from Chicago who came down, visited his cousins, said the wrong thing, did the wrong thing. Wolf Whistle, Douglas Norton's wonderful novel about this. But you should know about it. Now, maybe you shouldn't necessarily know about Emmett Till's father, Lewis Till. And I will tell you what I think about this. I've read John Weidman's book about this, and I think that probably more than likely Lewis Till, the movie, allows you to believe that he was killed in World War II, which strictly is true. They don't say how he was killed. They sort of insinuate that he was a war hero, and I can kind of understand that given the fact that his family really didn't know the circumstances of his death at this time. Though by 1956 there were some inklings of what had happened. Lewis Till was executed by the U.S. Army in Italy for rape and murder in 1943, I believe. Now, Weidman's book and some other people make the case that he was in effect lynched by a racist officers in the U.S. Army, and he was scapegoated and lynched for something he may not have done. Now, there's also indications that maybe he was not the greatest guy in the world, and I mean, that's beside the point. I mean, it has nothing to do with what happened to his 14-year-old son, and it has nothing to do with the horrendous nature of this crime. What bothers me a little bit about the movie is that even though the family may not have known at the time, they do allow this perception to go on. And I don't know exactly at what point you have to tell the truth about stuff like this when you're making a movie that is about something entirely different. You know, it's like, I don't necessarily think you have to bring up the fact that someone's great-grandfather did something when you're making a movie about somebody who does something totally different. I mean, it might not be admissible in court, though, and it is exploitable by the people who want to make Emmett Till look out to be something he's, something less than the martyr that he's become. Though it's just stupid. I mean, it really is. I mean, it's a stupid argument to bring his father into this at all. It just bothers me that the film doesn't address it in some more subtle, nuanced way than just letting its audience believe the guy was a war hero. Okay? That's the limited purpose argument against how the film did it. They could have not mentioned him at all. They could have just mentioned that this was a ring from his dead father, because the ring is important in this. They could have done a number of things, but they chose a place that I would not have chosen. You know, I would have gone further or not gone as far. I would not have brought his father into this conversation only to drop him and leave the wrong impression. It reminds me a little bit, and it's not as egregious, because the Nothing Compares documentary, which my wife Karen is writing about. I don't want to step on what she's saying about this, but you know, both Karen and I are really tremendous, you know, Sinead O'Connor fans. I really am. I really, especially those first two albums. Though I will say that I don't think that she's released an album I don't have, that I didn't get, because I'm a rock critic too, that I didn't get. You know, that I don't have on my computer hard drive. I mean, I didn't go through my Sinead O'Connor collection, but I think I have them all. She did not stop working after 1992. She was not, her trajectory was deflected after she tore up the picture of the Pope on Saturday Night Live. But her career was not totally derailed. And she did not have this sort of, she didn't vanish, which is what the documentary sort of lets you believe. I mean, she was around, and she did things, and things happened to her that were sad and tragic and sort of weird, and some of that was maybe the result of mental illness, or maybe it was the result of being misunderstood, or whatever, but it wasn't necessarily, it doesn't negate the fact that she was right about child abuse in the Catholic Church, about pedophilia in the Catholic Church. None of this, you know, negates the point of the documentary, which wants to show her as this visionary voice that says these things, that speaks truth to power. She did that. She absolutely did that. But then other stuff happened, and you don't have to talk about the other stuff. That's fine. But don't give the impression that nothing else happened, and now here she is again. Which is what I think the Nothing Compares documentary does. Now, like I said, I could argue it both ways, and it's a close call, and maybe it's not worth talking about. But these two instances together sort of made me think about this. I don't know what the line is. I don't know what a filmmaker is required or should be required to do. Should you be required to, you know, present the whole story? Not always. But sometimes, you know, I'm not comfortable with, you know, this selective, you know, this cherry picking of detail to make a point. I mean, this something that people in my business do all the time. Admittedly, that's what, you know, a lot of newspaper columnizing is cherry picking facts to make points. But I really, personally, I strive to be intellectually honest and not, you know, build cases that not gloss over things that really do matter. And again, I'm making too big a deal of both these instances, but it's just something that bothered me. It's something to talk about, and that's what criticism actually is finding something to talk about, something interesting maybe. That's probably true.
I play Rosaline. Rosaline is a total feminist. She is just basically rejecting all of the gender restrictions that are put on her at that time. She's a real forward thinker. She is dedicated and really smart and intelligent, and really just, you know, she wants to travel. She wants a career. She wants passion and adventure. And I think she really defies the patriarchal world around her by refusing an arranged marriage. She just continues to say what she wants and do what she wants and fight for what she believes in.
Okay, that's Caitlin Dever, and she's in this movie called Rosaline, and it's coming out on Hulu, and they sent us one of these little interview things, so I thought I would just, I'm not asking her questions, she's just answering questions, but we did that bit before, so I'm just going to see how this works, that's all. Just let her talk. It looks interesting. Courtney Lanning wrote about this week, so we're going to do this, and then we're going to get out of here with a little bit more on Halloween Ends.
Isabella Merced is the perfect Juliet. I was so excited that she was coming on to play Juliet. I think she is brilliant. I think she has, she's so good at the comedy, but she's really, really sweet and earnest, and is like a real representation of someone that is really, really kind. And I loved the scenes that I got to do with her. I think she is just a really, really great actor, and aside from her being brilliant in the role, I think she's just an amazing person, and I had a lot of fun with her, just hanging out and exploring Italy. It was really a lot of fun.
And now here I ask the next question about this new Romeo and Juliet project for Hulu that Caitlin is executive producing and also starring in, and her name's above the title, so I presume that she's got the biggest role, even though she's not playing Juliet. Anyway.
Kyle was just making me laugh too much. It was actually really, really, really bad. I don't know if he ever mentioned this in his interview, but there was one moment where we were kissing, and I started laughing while our faces were touching, and I just I couldn't hold it in. I just basically just exploded. It was just he made me laugh so much, and he is so good in this role, and he just is he's just the perfect balance of everything you would want Romeo to be and more. And this new modernized version of Romeo, I think he does a really, really amazing job.
So who's the director?
Karen Maine is our director, and I think that she just, from the moment I met her, she just really understood what this movie could be and what it should be, and she had a really deep understanding for Rosaline and Rosaline's desires and her goals in the movie, and I think that Karen was just such an incredible director for this movie and so perfect, and she really just understands comedy, but also subtle comedy too, which I think is even better when you can really showcase that in a film. I think it's really brilliant. She just allowed for the writing to come to life in this really awesome way, and I just loved working with her. I loved collaborating with her.
Welcome back, Laurie Strode. She gave it all, her heart, her soul, her blood. But that bubble burst because Michael comes back.
You came here to kill me, so do it.
Jamie Lee Curtis defines the Halloween franchise. She's also the muse of all of the writers. We brainstorm ideas, keep her very closely involved.
Anything that's gonna look raw and brutal.
As long as it doesn't look like a movie fight, I will be happy.
These are it.
She brings 100%, from a fight scene to a dramatic scene to a scream scene.
I remembered exactly how I felt when I was 19 years old, going like, I've never screamed once in my life.
No, I'm good. Let's go again.
Having her here as an icon is one thing, but then having her here as a support and a set den mother.
I'm gonna clean my glasses with your shirt.
What, David? What?
I love being a member of a crew. I love it. That sort of deep companionship and friendship, it feels very special to me.
People are sharing lots of information with me today.
It will be difficult to say goodbye to Laurie Strode.
It's her legacy, and it's now part of ours. Jamie Lee Curtis of Halloween.
When David called me, I immediately said yes. But what I didn't really know was what it was going to feel like.
I'll miss you, and I thank you so much for your support. You've been fucking incredible for people.
It's been an emotional movie for me, to be honest.
Thank you.